Hello, I'm Allyson and welcome to TMN Television on Thursday, February 15th. Tonight, we hear about recent addresses on campus and in the community. And later, listen for our Truman Sports Update. These stories and more tonight on TMN Television. You don't want to miss this. Truman State University President Sue Thomas discussed the university's planned response to proposed reductions by Governor Eric Greitens in state funding for higher education during her State of the University address Tuesday. State appropriations for Truman during fiscal year 2018 totaled $39.4 million, which Thomas said is only $200,000 more than the university was allocated in fiscal year 1999. Thomas says Truman's enrollment has declined by 205 full-time equivalent students and 2,125 fall semester credit hours during the past 5 years. The university's institutional aid budget has increased by more than $2.7 million to counteract this enrollment decline. Thomas says competition to recruit students is getting more intense, and other universities are offering more scholarships to standout students. Thomas says even though Truman's health insurance premiums have decreased during the past 2 years, they increased by 30% this year after a number of expensive claims. She says the university will pay for half the cost of the increase, which will cost the university $750,000. Thomas says the university has some issues for the future regarding budget, but she says many members of the Missouri General Assembly have expressed concern about the cuts to higher education, which is positive news for the university. Thomas says there is also significant opposition in the Assembly to the use of performance goals to determine whether a university gets its full core funding. Truman State University is changing student scholarship awards based on recommendations from consultants with the goal of awarding scholarships more effectively. The consultants came with fresh eyes from the American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and took a look at how the university distributed scholarships. Any potential changes will be made to scholarship awards to incoming students, so the scholarships of current students will not be altered. Regina Morin, Vice President for Enrollment Management, said the consultants advised Truman to push students to fill out their FAFSA and list Truman as one of their top 10 institutions to send their results to. This would allow prospective students to fully understand Truman's scholarship opportunities and hopefully yield a higher percentage of students who decide to enroll at Truman. The consultants also advised the university to reevaluate how it currently distributes scholarships and use money more efficiently to offer aid to a broader number of potential students. Kirksville Mayor Philip Biston delivered the 2018 State of the City address Monday, highlighting the city's economic success in the past year and laying the groundwork for the near future. During the address, Biston announced the City Council passed a balanced budget for 2018 and reported that the state of the city is strong. In reviewing the past year, Biston highlighted the passage of a 0.5% sales tax to raise revenue for the Parks and Recreation Department, the purchase of an asphalt plant for the city, the completion of a new wastewater treatment plant, and the continued economic growth as points of success for the city. Biston said economic growth in the city is expected to continue in 2018 as Kraft Heinz finishes the expansion of its Kirksville plant and various businesses are slated to open in town. He also said multiple infrastructure improvement projects will move forward in 2018, including a new, larger water tower and replacing 10,000 feet of water main across the city. Within the next few years, the city of Kirksville might have to demolish the old Kirksville High School building if the property is not brought into compliance with city codes or redeveloped. The building, located at the corner of Melanix and McPherson Streets, was built in 1914 and served as the city's high school until 1960 and has been vacant since 1978. Since then, the building has not been well maintained and is currently being considered for demolition. The high school ranked at number 5 on Missouri Alliance for Historic Preservation's 2017 Historic Places in Peril list. Kirksville City Manager Mary Maycomer said 2 city departments have been working with the owners of the building to determine the future of the building. Maycomer said the lack of security and the possibility of falling bricks and tree limbs makes the building and site unsafe for the neighborhood, and the building will need to be demolished if no improvements or renovation plans are made. A small bridge on Cranberry Way near Gibbs, Missouri, known to Truman students as Train Bridge, has been closed indefinitely after failing a recent inspection. Bridges are typically checked by MoDOT every 2 years to ensure public safety, according to Travis Wamwell, the MoDOT Northeast District Bridge engineer. He says he does not know what the future holds for Trainbridge, as its fate usually rests with the county, depending on available funds and its comparison to other county bridges. Womwell says 3 parts of a bridge are rated on a scale from 0 to 9, with 3 and under being the condition to justify a closure. He says there was uncertainty when inspecting Trainbridge because of an inconsistency in its substructure, its support beams that go underground. One of these beams did not line up with the rest of them, causing MoDOT to have concern.
All we could tell was that at the surface, looking at the surface of the ground, it had moved. Yeah. We don't know if it broke off below ground somewhere, or if it has decayed and it's kind of halfway broken off and kind of sitting sideways underground, or what exactly is going on there because it's underground. But we do know that some movement has taken place and that we're not able to say is safe.
Next, stay tuned for a look at the Truman Sports Update. But before that, let's look at this week's forecast.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
First pitch for the Truman State University baseball team is just around the corner. The Bulldogs will play their first game tomorrow at 3 p.m. against Washburn University. Head coach Dan Davis says that 2/3 of the roster this year is made up of underclassmen. Davis says the last time he remembers having so many underclassmen on one team was 2012, when former assistant coach Zach Larkin was a freshman. He says more of their offseason preparation has been dedicated to teaching these less experienced players. He says the coaching additions of Shane Hershelman and former Bulldog Jason Priest have helped the underclassmen transition. As they continue to grow, Davis expects these players to be steady contributors to their offense and pitching, like what happened with the players from 2012. He says that they do not have to do too much, as enough experienced players will be back to give the team stability.
They don't have to be the guy. They just have to be a good team guy and do what they can, learn, get better throughout the year, and contribute when they have the opportunity, and they don't have to worry about being the spotlight guy that has to be, you know, the big RBI guy or the guy that's on base all the time. They just have to contribute, and if they do just enough, then I think we can have a great offensive year.
The softball team played their first games this past weekend, splitting the 4 games. The Bulldogs fell behind 3-1 in the first game against Ohio Dominican University before junior utility player Morgan McMahon and senior infielder Ashley Murphy drove in runs to win the game. In Game 2, the Bulldogs allowed 8 unanswered runs to lose 8-4. Truman came back the next day, winning their 3rd game against Christian Brothers University behind sophomore pitcher Alyssa Hadjuck's 5th career complete game, and then lost the second one 10-2 to nationally ranked Lee University. Some of the top performers from the weekend were Hadjuck winning 2 games and GLVC Player of the Week junior outfielder Krista Reisinger. The Bulldogs play a doubleheader against Westminster College today. The men's and women's swimming teams competed in the GLVC Swimming and Diving Championships last week. The women finished 3rd, earning individual honors and breaking 4 program records. Natalie Galuzzo was named the GLVC Freshman of the Year. Galuzzo had a hand in all 4 of the new women's records, including 2 breaststroke events and 2 relay events. She says the culture and swimmers in Truman Swimming have made her a better swimmer and believes she will improve even more. The men finished 5th, but added 5 more program records. 4 of the men's records came in relay events, while the 5th one was earned by a senior Riley Brown in a breaststroke event. Senior Will Chanel and junior Sam Heverow qualified to compete in multiple races at nationals. Head coach Jared Simic believes as many as 9 from the women's team could join them. The basketball teams each have 4 home games in the next 2 weeks before the conference tournament. The men's basketball team has won 3 straight games after beating William Jewell College 81-80 last Thursday. The Bulldogs managed to hold on to a 4-point lead in the last 3 minutes. Sophomore guard Broderick Thomas recorded his 6th career double-double to lead the team. The team had a more balanced scoring attack in the next game last Saturday, defeating Quincy University 86-72 as 5 Bulldogs scored in the double digits. The women lost their 7th straight 52-49 in their game last Thursday against William Jewell as the Bulldogs were not able to get a shot off at the last second. They snapped the losing streak last Saturday, beating Quincy 73-63. Truman shot 45% from the field, and freshman center Katie Jasikas recorded her 5th double-double. This has been your Truman Sports Update. Stay tuned after the break.
Got a quarter?
The Truman Theater Department put together a production in the span of only 24 hours. Here is TMN's Bria Parnell with the story.
The Truman State University Theater Department held their annual 24-hour theater production at 8 p.m. last Saturday. 24-hour theater is a show written, directed, designed, and produced within a span of 24 hours with only about 25 to 30 students involved. Senior producer for 24-hour theater, Violet Ozinski, says 24-hour theater is challenging because there are a few more problems producers have to think about when putting on a show in such a short period of time.
You have to think about the time limit, and you have to think about the actors and what's doable in 24 hours, and also being aware that people are going to be really sleep deprived by the end of this experience. It's what, 2:30 a.m. right now, and the lack of sleep is starting to hit some people already.
Production is in conjunction with the Independent Performance and Art Coalition, or IPAC, which provides a minimal amount of funding to the production. Most of the equipment, sets, and costumes are things already in department stock, so the crew must get creative. Assistant producer Rachel Seaball says she thinks 24-hour theater is great because it's more about the theater and less about the business side of making a show.
I think what's cool about 24-hour theater is that it's almost limitless in what you can do. There's no hard rules about this is how it has to go, and it's just kind of like a fun thing that we can do to just do a show, and not worry about the problems and not worry about we need to make money, you know what I mean?
The theater department has performed 24-hour theater every year for 18 years. The department holds an event during the fall semester to meet with others who are interested in 24-hour theater. The producers want students to know that 24-hour theater is not just for theater majors, but anybody who is interested. For the Truman Media Network, I'm Bria Parnell.
Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. For complete news coverage, be sure to stay tuned to KTRM and pick up a copy of the Index and check out our news content on tmn.truman.edu. You can also follow TMN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for breaking news updates. And if you missed part of our broadcast tonight, check out TMN TV on YouTube. If you've ever thought about being on TV, be sure to head on over to tmn.truman.edu/apply to fill out an application today. From all of us here at TMN, thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the week.